Well, howdy, and welcome back to SciTrek, your sci-fi TV and movie channel, and of course, we gotta talk some aliens. What's the best way to do that besides in our rocket ship on this SciFi Sundays, of course?
Traveling the universe.
Before we dive in, I believe it's our first SciFi Sundays since May 4th. I think
it's been a minute. Yeah,
it's been a nice month and a half break, and the world definitely hasn't gone to shit in the meantime at all. I don't know what you're talking about at all. I don't know.
Nothing big happened.
No, nothing at all. Stargate didn't get canceled for no reason. Disclosure Day didn't come and go like a wet fart. I hate describing it like that, but I meant to have this up. We just started talking beforehand, and I totally forgot to bring it up. But I saw Disclosure Day has what looks like its final estimates for an actual box office finishing, and I have that now ready for when we talk a little Disclosure Day. But before we dive into all of the craziness and lacklusterness of the last month and a half or so, because it feels like the sci-fi kind of got especially considering Stargate, a little bit of a rug pull in the last month. But we'll dive into that in a minute. Supergirl might be on that docket as well, and we're a couple seconds late because I totally was responding to Jamie on message, and he might come talk a little Supergirl with us in a bit, so that'll be fun. Just as long as it's not bursting from our chest, we're good. Speaking of bursting from our chest, I don't know how I was going to try to correlate that into it, but what's been bursting onto our screens for the past month or so? What are the big standouts that you've kind of watched and seen or digested?
Well, I've been rewatching Silo as we're talking about that on Radical Wasteland podcast. Shameless plug. I'm watching, maybe one or two episodes of Star Trek, rewatching DS9, kind of plugging through that. I caught up on The Pit, which is a really good show, not science fiction, but it's a good show. And doing a rewatch of House of the Dragon to kind of rewatch all of that and then start binging the new season that's coming out.
Episode 2's tonight.
That's about it. And then, of course, NHL draft. So I was watching a lot of stuff about that, but that's over now.
All right.
So now hockey is done for a while anyway.
Is it spring and fall hockey? Is that how that works, or is it just a longer season?
It starts in the fall, like late fall. Okay. They're actually starting it a little bit earlier this year, like end of September.
Interesting.
It goes through, if you're going all the way through the Stanley Cup, that's like June.
That's a long season.
Yeah, football is starting to gear up. Well, baseball is the thing right now, of course. And then FIFA, which here in Seattle is one of the host cities. So there's been a lot of that going on. Yeah.
Yep. Seattle knows a thing about that.
Oh, football, you mean that football, not our...
I guess football all around, because by the time FIFA wraps up, it's time for American football to kind of start.
Yeah, training, I think. They've already had a couple early training sessions, I think. But yeah, they're going to be getting into full swing of training season, I think.
Preseason, I believe, starts late August, is usually. We'd always go try to see, growing up, I'd go see usually one preseason game. Sometimes we'd go see one regular season game of the Texans, because they were in Houston.
Right.
My dad's more of a Cowboys fan, so to his chagrin, we went to the Texans. But Texans are our hometown. We got to do that. We never lived near Dallas. I guess I was born in Fort Worth, but come on, Houston's where we're at. You know.
Well, there's rumors that Houston might be getting an NHL team, so you'll see. So,
sheesh. Oh, Peter's asking us, why is sports so compelling for people?
Oh, tribalism.
And it's inherently like just part of our species, you know. Yeah. This is the closest thing we have to the Coliseum now, and we saw how much people love that. You know, it's kind of just the modern equivalent in its own way. But yeah, it's unscripted. The drama, it's live. It's
right.
There's still some filtering, sure, but it's some of the most unfiltered I guess other live performances are still built in theater, so on and so forth, ballet, whatever you're gonna go see.
It's one of the few like appointment television viewing things left.
Yeah,
really. Yeah.
Tribalism sounds good. I mean, just about everything, honestly, at this point.
Yeah,
that's right. You're a Mariners guy, if I remember correctly. I mean, obviously Seattle, but that's good.
I'll be at a Mariners game Friday night against the Blue Jays. My daughter and I are going, so that'll be fun. They're doing fireworks show after and stuff. So,
well, I was about to say we're SciTrek baseball tee now, but I think those SciTrek maneuvers are baseball tees, so we're kind of there. Go Mariners, Monk says.
Yeah.
Let me think. I think half the things I watched are probably about the same there. Obviously, Silo, season 1, and I've watched I think the first 4 episodes because I watched 2 yesterday and 2 the the day before. I was like, when would you do Radical Wasteland? It was Friday. It's now Sunday. Whatever day of the week it is. Silo 2's season 2, I guess, is the better way to say that.
Yeah.
Second half of book, 1.
Right. It's good. It's different than the first season. The way the flow of it is different.
I like the storytelling maybe more of season 1, but all the context of everything, where we're at, it's so good. I'm so excited to finish the season before we dive into season 3 on Thursday. That's gonna be cool. Besides that, I caught up with, when I got back in town, I caught up with Rick and Morty and Witch Hat Atelier, because both of those only had like 3 or 4 episodes. And they were pretty easy, pretty self-explanatory. Just 20-minute watches, And I did, now that I see this wonderful face down here, I did go see Supergirl. And we'll talk a little Supergirl, I think, before we dive fully into Disclosure Day.
I'll just sit here and smile.
You're going to be the good litmus
I can make comments, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, you'll be great test of should I go see it after these two talk about it and have different
Do we argue about it by the sounds of things?
I was arguing with it on Twitter and a little bit with Chillin yesterday in his stream yesterday evening. Keyboard warrioring for a little bit, but I don't know. Here comes the James Gunn soapbox. Damn right! Be prepared for it. Be prepared for it.
It seems like everybody hates it from what I've seen.
But, I wouldn't say hate.
But I'll give it a shot.
The most... I don't think... Well, decide if you want to give it a shot after this.
It's a lot of hate. There is a lot of hate aimed at this, but it's the same people that hated it before they saw it.
Yeah. I went in with super low expectations, just hearing what people were... The previews, I guess, it said about it, because I did go see it on the pre night, the I think Wednesday before it came out. And I called it a wet fart a minute ago, because it's not that it's like it's really not bad. It's just the epitome of
I'm not going to disagree with you there. I will say my biggest problem with this film is they don't have any big swings. It's just a very generic popcorn superhero movie. There's nothing particularly interesting or exciting or that's going to make you go, oh my God, wow. It's not Iron Man or even like Ragnarok. It's just not.
No.
Right.
And it suffers for that. That's one of those things, I guess, Chillin and I were kind of arguing about on the old Twitters yesterday, was he's like, it's a comic book movie. I don't need it to say something. I'm going to it for escapism. I want to just dive into a world that is fun and goofy and lets me dive into that. And he's unequivocally wrong, because the best comic book movies are the ones that actually try to say something. Winter Soldier, Dark Knight, Avengers Infinity War, frickin' Watchmen, Spider-Man 1 and 2, the original X-Men films, X-Men 1 and 2 at least, Last Stand kind of lost some sauce there. First Class, Days of Future Past, any film that is a comic book movie that is heralded as one of the better, if not best, comic book movies inherently has something to say still. And the big, I think, causation of why people are responding to Supergirl the way they are is it has absolutely nothing to say. It is, for all intents and purposes, a first draft, a rough draft. The writing is
Really
the
good.
obvious weak point. It's the obvious weak point.
Mhm.
But the fact that, well, and I don't know if y'all are familiar with it, the actual writer for this film
Mhm.
proved that she didn't read the comic book that she's adapting prior to it. And of course, adaptations can change and do some stuff. But she literally tweeted, was like, "Oh, Ruthye, however you say the young girl's name in the movie, kills the bad guy at the end of the comic book." No, she doesn't. She said this in like an interview, which, and it's just a simple little moment, but it shows that the writer for this film didn't care enough about the character she's writing for, or the source material it's coming for, or the fact that she's setting up the second movie in an all-expansive new universe that is supposed to be this exciting new breath of fresh air that's supposed to be saying something, and it's just a wet fart.
Why is it always got? Why are you on about? It's got to say something. How many action movies or a lot of these types of films have to say something? Ragnarok didn't say anything. It was just a fun movie. It was
Ragnarok
funny.
was about losing the rest of your family and finding
Right.
a brotherly love. That said something so strong in that movie. It's not even funny.
Well, okay.
It
Then
is-
one of Supergirl is about her being lost and her finding herself again because of what happened to her on Krypton. You can say
Right.
Supergirl said something. It is a growth story for Kara. She does change throughout the movie. She does find a bit of a reason for going forwards that she doesn't. And on about the comic book, Marvel have changed the comic books over and over again over years, and a lot of the time when they do, it's for the better. I'm not going to sit here and say that this is Iron Man because it's not. All right, it's not. It's as I said, it's a bit generic, and I will agree with that. But it's funny. It is well written. The dialogue and everything in it is fine. I do feel that Lobo was only basically there to advertise that they're going to do a Lobo movie. And I wouldn't. He's a bit of a nothing sandwich. I've got two big problems with the film, really, in that they didn't, like I say, they didn't make any big swings. No, I've got three big problems with the movie. They didn't take any big swings. The whole thing with crypto is the core thing to the story. I'm like, you just did that in Superman. Why are you doing it again? And that really the villain is a nothing sandwich. I don't think the film is about the villain. So I don't think it really matters particularly. But I feel like the creators thought it didn't matter.
It matters.
And yeah, it should. I mean, I think the difference between a good movie and a great movie is always the villain, and that's probably why this is just a good movie. It's never going to be a great film. The villain is irrelevant into the film, really. They've just got a guy there that they all want to kill, and that's pretty much it. You do not care. Spoilers. Boo, 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 boo. Spoilers. You do not care when Supergirl kills the guy at the end. You don't care in the slightest. It's sort of like, well, he's dead. Yeah, but we knew that was going to happen. But it's funny when it's supposed to be. She is brilliant in it. And I don't give a crap about
Al
it.
was the only shining star, I think, in the entire thing.
Jason Momoa is really good in it as well. I'd really like Jason Momoa in it, but it
I
felt
want
like
to see it just for him.
Yeah. Well,
Just
it's an advert for a later Lobo movie, I think.
If that's the reason to see it, don't see it and just look up his scenes realistically. Because you could
He's
take
not in
him
it
out
that
of this
much.
movie.
Yeah.
You could take him out of this movie completely, and there's not a single thing that changes.
Well, I mean, except for the end bit where he basically does save the day. She's about to die basically, and Lobo turns up and saves the day. Other than that, I would agree with you. What he's doing, he does save the day. But I agree with you. Other than that, he's not even in the background, is he? It's an advert. I'm going to keep saying he's an advert for doing a Lobo movie. That's why he's there.
You can blatantly tell he was not in the original script, and he was just a rewrite that was tossed in there for the filming a couple more scenes.
Very possibly. Yeah.
Well,
he doesn't add a great deal to 95% of the film.
I mean, his introduction is an entire bar fight happens around him, and then he just kind of stands up. And it's not like Aragorn as Strider sitting in the back of a thing just waiting for something to happen. That's totally what they're going for in that moment, and it makes me want to vomit because it's just like, this is the worst way to do it. He just stands up and is like, I'm Jason Momoa. I'm here.
Yeah.
Bye.
Well, because I think there was a point to that. I think the point was he actually doesn't care about what's going on, and it's almost underlining that he's just a selfish character that really doesn't care.
That's what they're going
so I think that was the point.
You just put him in for a rewrite, and that was not in the original script. Like
maybe, I don't know, but I mean, I'd say I don't know if that's the case or not, but I'm glad he was in it, and the bits he's in are probably the best bits of the film. But yeah, Millie Alcock, though, to be honest, is so good in this, and she's so fucking adorable. That all the way through, I loved her in that little scene at the end of Superman. I really like the scenes where Superman is in, particularly at the end. I think he is, for what they're trying to do. You what, sorry?
Sorry, I just total rewrites as well. I tell Superman and Lobo were not as much in this film prior to reshoots.
I mean, I didn't know they had a lot of reshoots. I thought they only did like 3 weeks of reshoots.
Well, with the amount of AI they used, which I cannot say how I know that, but they did actually use AI from people that I know that worked on this film.
Yeah, I mean, it's crept into the normality now.
Well, the difference between this is not that they essentially made things and then hired people to cover up the AI so it just would be close enough to be out of copyright, rather than hire someone to make this beautiful film and have AI tweaks. There's a right and wrong way to do it, and this film was the wrong way to do it.
There was no point in this film when I thought that anything was in there that was out of place or odd. I mean, if you remember with AI thing, AI has hit the industry in the last 12 months. I mean, what is it? Disney just sacked 1,000 people on the creative side of things, and that is straight up because they've replaced them with AI. The people that creating the suits and things for Marvel, they've all been sacked, and it's because AI will generate them in the future. And it's wrong and it's BS, but it's what's going on. This may be the first big movie that that's been an issue, but and then until SAG-AFTRA and all these people stand up and actually go, well, maybe the deal we signed a couple of years ago was not right, then that's just the future of the industry at the moment. And to be honest, at some point, and it's not just the film industry, it's across the technology industry, full stop. People are losing their jobs over AI. And it's really only the last 12 months it's started to impact. I'll tell you what, my big brother's losing his job over it. He's been replaced by AI. It's just starting to bite now, the true impact of AI, and not just on the film industry as a whole, across most industries. But either way, there's nothing in this film that made me go, that was weird. I don't know. It was that AI. There's nothing in there that made me jump at that. And like I said, I'm not aware of any massive reshoots. Doing 2 or 3 weeks reshoots for any movie is minimal. They do that just for sound and stuff problems.
The only films that are usually afforded reshoots are ones with $80 to $100 million budgets and more. Anything under that typically isn't reshooting because they have to plan correctly with a good script prior to making the film to make sure they have the film made within a certain amount of time that they've allotted to make it, rather than, we got a bunch of money, let's just toss some stuff at the wall and, you know what, that didn't work. Let's reshoot that for another month. Yeah,
but lots of sci-fi movies, most big budget movies get at least some little bits of reshoots. And I don't mean even just like big sci-fi movies where it's CGI and stuff like that. There's constantly problems with things like when they get down to the edit and there's something wrong with something they shot and there's a lighting problem or a sound problem or something like that wasn't good, and they have to sort of do little touch-ups and stuff, or the director goes, "Don't like that. I don't like the cut we did. I would really like to do that again." And like you said, yeah, smaller budget films don't get to do it, but bigger budget films, getting 2-3 weeks reshoots is not unusual.
Sure,
that's perfectly normal. And doing a reshoot where you bring in a whole new character like Lobo would take months.
Oh,
so
no,
I mean,
not
that's not what happened anyway. But yeah, I mean, main thing is the issues I've heard about this film was that the lighting ruined it, and I'm like, I don't see that at all. Some of the shots are
studio lighting. It's just green screen.
Well, it's one of those things. It's blue screen,
like
isn't it? It's like, yeah. It's like, but I mean, some of the lighting is dark because it's at night, and one of the things is that they lit it differently from the red sun to the yellow sun scenes. So they lit it differently, so it feels different, and it's darker in the red sun. I'm like, that makes sense. The couple of bits I would go, what is going on was the whole green sun bit, and I'm like, is that a kryptonite sun? Because that doesn't make sense. They did that just for the story, but it didn't make sense.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm being honest, for the lighting wise, I don't even. This is not one of my main gripes, just because I'm so used to things.
No issue with it at all. Yeah.
Realistically, if I am griping about it, it was pretty bad in the sense of I'm pretty sure they didn't relight for red suns, yellow suns, green suns. They had all the same lighting, and they just color corrected in post, which is not the right approach for doing things. The good approach for doing things right now, Spider Noir is obviously the most recent thing. Where, hey, you do two different things, but they made the color look really good, and they made the black and white really good. There's some little bits that sometimes the black and white falters because the color had to be set up in a certain way, and sometimes the color falls apart just a little bit because this is set up for black and white, vice versa. But for the most part, they really showed that you can do this well if you're planning on a multitude of looks in Supergirl. And it's not that they just AI'd everything at the end of it. That was used in the planning stages, which is the bad part. And it shows why this film has absolutely nothing to say. There's nothing unique or original in the film.
No, there's nothing unique or original about it. But I mean, when was the last time you saw a film that had anything unique or original in it?
Well, there's usually a little something, at least. I mean, Fantastic Four, Thunder, recent memory, and even Superman. They did a lot of things that every iteration of those things prior to them had not done before. Thunderbolts very easily could have just been Suicide Squad, but for Marvel, and they uniquely attacked it in their own kind of format. Fantastic Four was a much more cerebral science fiction. It was the most science fiction focused comic book movie I think we've gotten to date, maybe besides things.
Particularly doing it a completely different way, and it worked 100%.
Yeah. Not 100%, but at least they took a swing rather than the genericist slop that we got with Supergirl.
I think it was pretty much perfect in that when I first saw that, and it's a bit like Ragnarok and Guardians of the Galaxy, I first saw that and went, that is not going to work. That is going to be crap. And it wasn't. The way they did it and the way they put it together fit what they were trying to do perfectly. And it made it for, I agree with it. It's made for a way more interesting film because they went out a different way. Supergirl, they didn't. They did. They put it in space and they made it with spaceships, and that is a different for a superhero movie. They went like the Guardians of the Galaxy direction on it in that respect. We saw Supergirl weak and is like basically human. That's a different way of looking at it, maybe. But didn't really add a great deal to the actual story because she was never a risk because of it. Yeah.
I thought the Yellow Sun made her completely human, but she's still able to fight big giant dudes 3 times her size. The rules,
she was just weakened, wasn't she? I think
every rule that's set up is either forgotten about or changed when needed to in the film, and that's.
I think the rules on Superman are that he sort of absorbs the radiation from the yellow sun. But just because you go to a red sun doesn't mean you then immediately become human. You just become weaker. So you don't know how long she'd been there, but yeah, she was definitely weakened. I'm just thinking though that the way they did that, it didn't actually add any jeopardy to her. She was weakened because she wanted to get drunk, and I'm like, okay, fair enough. She's a tortured soul and stuff, and she wanted to forget. I had no problem with that. She fights the big dude, but she's actually like, oh, for God's sake, I'm going to have to do the right thing here, and I don't really want to. But she's obviously not human. She's obviously not 100% weakened. The way they do it on the again, spoilers, the taxi, and she sees the yellow sun. I thought that was a bit convoluted in the way they did it, to be honest, and it was a bit. Again, we were supposed to feel like it was jeopardy. I don't 100% understand why she froze and then unfroze just because the yellow sun arrived. Surely she's either impervious or she's not, but whatever. Yeah, the green sun was the only bit that I actually sort of went, why have they done that?
I mean, the yellow sun was annoying as hell too. Like, I understand the power dynamics of needing the radiation from it and losing it, and red suns and green suns and so on and so forth, but especially the frickin' driving around and being taxied on that bus throughout space. Oh no, things are going bad for her. Oh, here comes the sun. We're good. Like, they should have just played do and just that they should have made a joke out of it at the very least. And I'd say it feels like a lesser filmmaker made it because of it, but it's Craig Gillespie. He made I, Tonya. Like, the guy that made I, Tonya directed this movie. The guy that made Pam and Tommy on Hulu directed this. Yeah. What happened? What happened? Like, this movie needs to be 10 times as good as it is, specifically because of I, Tonya. Like, literally just take the I, Tonya stuff and put it into Supergirl and make it a little more cosmic, and you have a better film. It's
honestly, I don't necessarily agree with that either, to be honest. But
in the second movie, starting off an all-encompassing universe from the guy that made Guardians of the Galaxy and is the head of this, and Craig Gillespie, who did I, Tonya, and Oscar nominated, and I don't know if he's won. I don't think he's won, but at least like everything that about this film should be better than what it is. It's not that we're expecting too much from it. It's that the filmmakers are expecting too little of us. And they just want us to go not even digest, just accept what they make and just chill out some cash. And that's not happening.
Right. Come on. Right. Bad sci-fi movies. We're talking about bad sci-fi movies, all right? Sorry, bad superhero movies. The gold standard for a terrible movie is The Flash. Are you telling me genuinely this is anywhere near that sort of level of terrible?
I would rather watch The Flash 10 times out of 10.
You are a fucking moron. Sorry.
You know
I didn't
why?
mean to throw in fucking sorry.
Is because there are at least moments that are better. There are moments. Yeah, there are. The Michael Keaton Batman moments. Oh my God. What's his name? Coming back as Zod. Michael Shannon coming back as Zod. And Sasha Calle.
Badly done because of the CGI. But yeah. Other than the Michael Keaton,
the guy might have sucked.
Other than Michael Keaton, that film is awful.
Yeah.
There is nothing good about it other than I Am Batman. And even the Batman fight sequences where they're fighting Zod is not good. The end sequence is awful. There is nothing about that film that deserves rewatch. It's awful. And the CGI is painful. It's so painful. The baby scene alone, that film deserves to be deleted from all the internet and everything else. It's awful. There is nothing in Supergirl that is hateful. There's nothing in Supergirl that made me go, Jesus Christ, what did I just watch? Where in The Flash, several times I do. I would put this more in line with something like Green Lantern. It's not a good film, but there's nothing really like horrendous in it that makes you angry. Doctor Strange 2. This is much better than Doctor Strange 2, Supergirl. Again, because there are bits in Doctor Strange 2 that genuinely make you want to cut off your own private parts. It's an awful film. Wakanda, Black Panther 2 is awful. and has moments in it that genuinely make you want to think, I don't want to watch a superhero movie again. That was really, really bad. What the hell is wrong with Marvel? There's nothing in that. There's nothing in Supergirl that's really hateful. The problem is there's maybe nothing in it. It's slightly vanilla. That's the problem.
It's the most boring thing I've ever walked out of. I would rather watch The Expendables 4 again. Maybe okay, never mind. That just stands out as the worst thing I've seen in so long. But I would rather watch The Flash again over Supergirl because the highs are higher and the lows are lower, and you at least, even the CGI is bad, but you're gonna get about 15-20 minutes of some really cool like multiverse stuff. You're like, oh, a little nostalgia here, a little nostalgia there. Where Supergirl.
Seriously, what medication are you on? I mean, can I have some? Because it's just awful.
I think we all know, don't we?
We do.
Not yet this morning.
Anybody that is going to sit here and argue that they'd rather watch The Flash than this, I don't know how to help you, mate. I think you need to go and have a rethink, because it's just
I like to feel things. The Flash is going to make me more pissed off, and it's going to make me happier in certain moments. I'd rather come out pissed off than just.
There are moments in Supergirl that I genuinely really enjoyed. There's just nothing that I loved. I do think the biggest problem with it, and the only real thing I would go, if they'd have done better with this would have been a much better film, is the villain. That's the only real problem with the film, is the villain.
No, the main problem.
If you'd have, it's gone the different, and I like I say, I always say in sci-fi, in Star Trek, whatever else, that's the difference between okay and great, is the villain. If you've got a good villain, you can go a long way. You can forgive an awful lot of other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The villain is nothing. The villain is a nothing sandwich. And that's the biggest problem with the film. All the other stuff is just, I just think I don't know if it's high expectations or whatever. At the end of the day, she's very good in it. Jason Momoa is very good in it. I have no problem with the writing and the dialogue. I have no problem with the CGI, the special effects. I have a little bit of a problem with the story in that, I mean, seriously, how many times are they going to do this to Krypto? The next film is going to be him getting neutered or something. I mean, just like, come on, take the dog for a walk.
Because you can't tell me that's not a rewrite, too. Like, that's just...
That was nothing to do with the rewrite. That was very clearly the story. I don't know if it was they very early on thought Krypto can't be in this, it's going to destroy the budget, or Krypto can't be in this because how do we have this dog running around constantly? I don't know how to write it, so they did a John Wick on it.
The story was Ruthye finding Supergirl and getting Kara to come help her. Shooting the dog midway through, they were always going to find a reason for the dog to stay back somewhere or something. Put the dog in a cage.
So just do something else. Just don't take it. Just say, stay here, boy. They didn't need that bit at all in the film, to be honest.
It makes it feel at least like a rewrite. It feels like it's a shoehorn thing at the very end. And they're like, hey, let's add some extra. We don't think Ruthye is enough emotional intensity to grab the audience. So let's shoot Krypto. But, I mean, I as much as I don't want a dog to die, like, if you're going to John Wick it, you can't be like, and he'll be okay in 3 days if you find the antidote. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Go off in the witch room direction. Like,
I'll wait for streaming, I think.
Yeah.
100%. It's not. Yeah, it wasn't a rewrite. They've done it for a reason. It might have been a second or third draft edition. I don't know, but it would have been. Yeah, it was something they've added for a reason, and I think they've done it as well in part to try to explain why Kara loves Krypto so much from the first one, and why Superman is so worried about Krypto, not just because he's the nice guy, but because he's worried about what it'd do to Kara. But then I saw John Campea talking about this, and he said, well, oh no, they did the whole thing of like explaining why she is so connected to Krypto later on in the movie. And I'm like, well, for one, they didn't really. They showed why she's broken, and then that basically she picked Krypto up as a stray. And they imply
that they should have started the movie off with that entire sequence.
And I don't agree at all. How many times, you do a film, you hint something, then you explain it later on in the movie. You don't explain everything in the first 5 minutes of a film. You never do. So I had no issue with that. My issue maybe was that they didn't really explain why Kara loves Krypto as much as she does, other than he's a stray. And they imply that that's his sort of almost like her surrogate for losing her family or whatever. But they don't actually say it. She lost her family. She lost the life, and she's got crypto. That's it, really. I don't agree with John Campea at all on that.
Well, because that alone shows why it should be earlier in the film. Maybe not starting, because I do understand maybe setting up Ruthia's plot line before you dive into like, the full backstory for Kara. But all you have to do is show her at a bar for half a second, kind of half nodding off, drinking, and then going into this memory, or, I just got back home from the bar at the ship, and then do that. Then show that early on in the film rather than halfway to the end of your second act, maybe beginning of your third act. I think it's the end of the second act, realistically.
Yeah, they flash back a couple of times, don't they, over the end of the first, start of the second, and then they actually properly explain it into the second,
Yeah, and it doesn't give you enough emotional resonance or time to feel the emotional resonance necessary. You're so caught up, not so caught up because it's a boring movie, but you're as caught up as you can be in the moment with everything that's happening to fully invest in that emotional resonance that they're asking you to invest in. And a better film would have it in the first act. Maybe not all of it, but at least those first two.
The end of the first act, maybe.
Flashbacks.
I think the main things, and John Campea was talking this, and you keep talking about it, in that the emotional resonance and all this. I just think, I don't know, go watch Shawshank. Go some of this is a popcorn
Dark
movie.
Knight, Blade 2.
Yeah, Dark Knight is a completely different type of film. This is more like Blade. This is more like...
Blade has so much to say.
No, it doesn't, mate. It doesn't. Oh, come on. It's Wesley Snipes running around cutting people's heads off. It's not. It's an action movie. It's
an action movie, but the dude doesn't belong on either side of vampires or humans. Is grappling with just his existence of what. I mean, it's a racial thing for I guess in a lot of ways of, hey, am I okay in this community? Am I okay in this community? Where do I fit better? How do I balance myself enough to not care about what either side thinks and just kind of keep moving anyway? That's just like the most general basis for that. There's a lot more that it goes into.
So why is the story and the journey that Kara goes through and her losing her family, the guilt of what she does, that finding a new place, not being able to settle it, why is that not a story? Why is that not saying something?
Because it's written like shite.
But it's saying something. You were just saying it needs to say something. It does say something. So what's the problem? Blade doesn't do it well. Blade is it's an action movie. It's not written particularly well either. One of the big parts of Blade is that he jumps down a hill and starts shouting the villain's name for 5 minutes while he's cutting vampires' heads off.
Guillermo was not allowed Blade to be a bad movie.
It's not a bad movie. It's one of the greatest superhero movies. It allowed Marvel to go on and do what it did. It was the daddy. It's a great film, but it's not clever. It's not emotional. It's not, it's not the Shawshank Redemption of bloody superhero movies. It's cool.
Well, no one's asking for that, and I'm not asking for it to compete for Oscars either. But at the same time, movie. Your best popcorn blockbuster superhero films tend to get, a lot of the times at least get Best Picture noms. Your best ones.
Yeah, I mean, but that's unusual, isn't it? Most don't. This is an action movie. This is a summer blockbuster movie that's a fun film, and it is fun. It is funny in places. It's got moments it's got great action sequences. The CGI, to be honest, when she's fighting, I thought was really, really good. It's got no really stupid moments in it, like there's a massive villain the size of a building, I'm going to go save a squirrel. It's got no stupid moments in it like that.
Thankfully, at least that'll give it a highlight on that one.
It hasn't got those great moments, but it hasn't got any awful moments either. It is a bit vanilla, but lots of people like vanilla. I worry that maybe they were trying not to offend people or something, and they were trying not to stir up too much crap, maybe. But I think that a lot of the hate of this film is aimed at her because of some of the things she said, which we're not going to go into. I've said my piece on that. And there's a lot of it that's hate because, unfortunately, some people just hate movies that have female leads. and I think there is a bit of that. And a lot of people decided they were going to hate this film before they saw it. There is nothing to say this is the worst. I have seen genuinely people say this is the worst superhero ever made, and I'm like, that you're having a laugh. It's mid-table. It's not going to be bloody chasing for any titles, but it's not The Flash, or Doctor Strange 2 or anything like that. It's
all of these are worse.
Morbius
is better.
It's an okay, fun popcorn summer blockbuster. It will be forgotten about. It just will. I do think it was an advert for what's coming later, an awful lot. But it's. I'm just anybody who's saying this is. Don't get me wrong. It's taste. If you go into this film and go, no, it's boring, mate. That's how you feel about it. That's perfectly as valid as how I feel about it. But to people who says it's the worst superhero film ever made, I'm like, no, that's The Flash. And
Madam Web and Craven might have something to say about that.
Yeah, no, good point. I'm going to edit my point. It's not Craven. It's not Morbius. It's not Madam Web. It's not The Flash. Those films are much worse.
I don't know if we're ready to have this conversation yet, but Morbius is better than Supergirl. It at least has interesting things in there. Now, it did not end up being a good movie, but Morbius at least.
It's not a good movie.
No.
I'm not going to agree with you there, but I will put the caveat on there is that I probably need to watch it again. I watched it a while ago. I think maybe that's one of those films, and I'm going to take your word for that. But next, I will watch Morbius again with that in mind. But because I do think there are bits in Morbius that aren't too bad. It's not Madam Web, and it's not. But Craven is bloody awful. It's a very forgettable film. Well, maybe the problem is with Morbius, I've forgotten most of the film, so that's obviously quite forgettable as well. I just don't think putting Supergirl in that league is remotely fair. No. But it isn't a perfect movie by any stretch of the imagination, and it is a bit vanilla.
I'd say two other movies that are the actual, if we're going to try to have comparison for comparison's sake, I'd say the two films closest to it, and it would be the bottom of this three, would be Supergirl, Morbius, and Blue Beetle, that more recent Blue Beetle. And Blue Beetle shows what a generic movie can do if you got some heart, baby. And Zolo Maraduena and everybody else in that cast had a bunch of heart, but it was a really generic film that didn't really have anything new to say or unique to say or anything like that. But it shows
I don't disagree with you there.
Can be good.
My only issue is I'd put Supergirl at the top of those three. I think it's better than Blue Beetle and Morbius. I think it's more fun. I think the characters are more rounded. I think in lots of ways it's a more interesting film. But I don't have an argument to saying that they're kind of in the same league. They're kind of in the same sort of area. I would genuinely put things like Doctor Strange below them. Like you were saying, this Doctor Strange 2 is a terrible film.
It's got some
really good bits in it. It has got some good bits in it. But generally speaking, it's a bad film.
It's Sam Raimi's weakest film, I think.
Yeah, it's the only bit in that film that I actually enjoyed was maybe when she turns up and kills Captain Britain, and that 5 minutes of that film I quite liked. But the first part that ends, it's just bad, and it had a terrible end to it. I really dislike that film, and Wakanda Forever. I cannot stand that film.
Yeah, Love and Thunder and Wakanda Forever.
Blood and Thunder. Supergirl's much better than Blood and Thunder.
I would rather watch both of those movies before I watch Supergirl again.
Oh, no, I would watch Supergirl.
Lower.
I would watch Supergirl 10 times over before I watch Blood and Thunder again. Love and Thunder, sorry. That's one of those things that I know you're saying the highs are lower, but the lows are lower. All those films have something in it that I genuinely hate, and when they come up, I have to go have a walk around the block. Because, there are several things in Love and Thunder that genuinely make me quite angry at Marvel. And there's nothing in Supergirl that would. I could get some popcorn, watch Supergirl, and if I went to the toilet, I might not pause it. But there are 4 or 5 points in Love and Thunder where I will genuinely seriously about thinking about turning it off because I'm so angry. You don't do that with Supergirl. It's a fine popcorn. You can sit down and watch it with the kids and you'd enjoy it. And if I watch Love and Thunder with the kids, at some point I'm swearing and they're going to ask me, what's a And I'm like, I hate this film. I'd rather have a film that's just fun and a bit of a lark than a film I genuinely dislike. And it has bits in it I genuinely hate. Supergirl's it's just a fun popcorn movie. That's all it is. It's not. I would put it in sort of the same area as sort of Green Lantern as well, or it's Deadpool 2 maybe or something like that, which I didn't love.
Deadpool 2.
Yeah, I didn't love. I never loved Deadpool 2. I love Deadpool. It's amazing, and I thought the third one was better. I'm not a big fan of Deadpool 2. I didn't think it worked.
Think 1 and 2 are pure cinema, baby, and then Deadpool 3 makes me want to find that rusty nail that's closest. And
am I mixing up 2 and 3? Oh, am I mixing up 2 and 3? It's 3 I don't like. Sorry, 2 is
3's Wolverine.
Yeah, sorry, I'm mixing them up.
Josh Brolin as Cable.
Yeah, I know, I'm mixing them up. It's 3 I can't stand. It's 2 I quite like. 3 wasn't good. But that's the thing. I'd rather watch a film that doesn't make me angry than a film that, so a popcorn movie. That's all I'm trying to say. It's a popcorn movie. It's not supposed to make you think. It's just supposed to go in there, enjoy it at the cinema. This film will not look as good on your screens at home. It just won't. My son took me for Father's Day. I had a thoroughly pleasant afternoon. I enjoyed my popcorn. I watched the movie. I came home absolutely happy. At no point did I think I wish I had my money back. When I watched things like Doctor Strange 2, I would have quite liked my money back.
See, I'd rather ask my money back for a movie like this and that might just be a fundamental agree to disagree kind of thing where
of course, because if we liked all the same things, man, what's the point?
It'd be
arguing about it.
It'd be as boring as the Supergirl movie.
Yeah, for you, I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I just really hope it does okay at the box office, even though it's not looking great. Because I don't want to give these haters that, like I say, decided 6 months ago they didn't like this film because it didn't have the actress in it they liked. Because I don't want to give them the satisfaction, to be honest.
Which I don't know why Billie Eilish was saying the things she was saying, just for the media training aspect of stuff. That doesn't help anything. But at the time, just see something before.
The thing I have a problem with that is the people that have been vile, really vile. And I'm going to put people like Nerdotic in this. They use that bloody image of her looking like a cave woman, whatever. Which I find absolutely disgusting, is vile. And they're basically saying, yeah, but I've got free speech, so I'm allowed to be this nasty. I'm like, well, okay, well, if I respect your free speech, why can't you respect hers? She had an opinion. She came out and said it. Leave it at that. Don't get it personal. Robert Picardo or somebody else comes out and says stuff. Yeah, exactly. Robert Picardo, other people come out and said something about Star Trek I did not agree with. Jonathan Frakes said, if you say anything negative about Star Trek, you're a troll. I fundamentally disagree with that. And I did videos saying why I disagree with it, why he's wrong. At no point did I get nasty. At no point did I ever go his looks or his personal life or his family. Or, you know what I mean? You disagree with them, but you still respect that he's got an opinion and he's got a right to that opinion. Yeah. It's not... The nastiness that was aimed at her was just disgusting. And
talk about I mean, you can't say, well, because I guess the typical people that are saying that are like, oh, well, some people aren't going to go see a Chris Pratt movie or something because he's on the other side of the political spectrum or something. And it's just separate the politics and the person and just go for what they're actually making and make a decision based upon that. See, I was down on Supergirl because I knew AI was used in the planning stages of it. And that made me go in with a really kind of a low barrier of entry. But that low barrier of entry made me almost more excited in a way because I was like...
I do love a film when you go in with a low expectation and it is better than you'd think, or it's the worst one is you go a high expectation and it's not quite perfect, and that's awful. But then you watch that film 6 months later and go, why did I have a problem with this film? It's perfectly good. It's just not what I was expecting. Expectations.
This is one of those ones I was like super low expectation, which made me more excited in a lot of ways, because I was like, it's only got stuff going for it now, you know?
Yeah.
And
I try to avoid having expectations. Just
with everything, it's not a good idea.
No.
It doesn't matter if you go into like expecting if you go into a great restaurant with high expectations, you're always going to be disappointed because then it's just food.
Yeah.
You go, this is going to change my life. No, it isn't.
No.
Almost certainly isn't.
A restaurant steak will never change somebody's life, and if it is, or if it does, you probably haven't had that great of a steak, realistically.
Do you want a bit of Stargate disappointment while we're on about this before I head off?
We can, and then we'll finish it off with some Disclosure Day after.
Right.
Will be
and then I'll disappear. So I'm going to go watch Avatar: Fire and Water, or Fire and Ash, whatever the hell it's called. I'm half an hour in, already bored, but well, hopefully it'll pick up. A lady I'm seeing told me that the end is amazing. Sorry, mate.
Oh, have you not seen it?
No.
Oh.
I don't like Avatar. I'm not a big fan. I said I wasn't a big fan of the second one. It was just a remake of the first one, but wetter. But apparently this one isn't. My lady friend tells me. So I'm trying to give it a chance, but I'm already bored. But let's see. I
don't know. I'm a sucker for the Avatar films.
I like the first one.
On the holiday back and forth to South Africa, long plane rides. 4-year-old niece watched all 3 of the Avatar movies. My sister let her, and I was like, "Are you sure of this?" It's Avatar. It's all right.
See, this is I have different expectations for movies. They're very clever, but they're very long, and I find them boring. But then I go watch Supergirl because that's what I want: action, fast-paced sort of thing, and not to have to think about it too much. That's what I want from a film. But anyway, so I spoke to somebody yesterday, and apparently there may or may not. I'm still waiting to sort of get a bit of a better person to tell me, to be honest. So I put this very much as a rumor, but apparently Amazon did have some chats about Stargate last week, looking at sort of some of the numbers and stuff that was being put together, and they have decided they are not changing their minds. So it's cancelled and it's staying cancelled. So in a way, we've got to keep fighting because you never know. We just got to get Mike Hopkins to maybe tip over the thing. But as it stands right now, it's not. They're not changing their minds.
I wouldn't expect them to necessarily, but at the same time, until they officially announce,
they won't.
They won't. But there's still that ever-loving inkling of hope.
Yeah. Well, I did. I got a video coming out tomorrow that's basically talking about how, and I've realised I've been too negative in the video, so I've just put a comment on the thing saying maybe I've been too negative in the video. But I think the alternative is maybe very, very overly hopeful and a bit naive. Is that when apparently Netflix did, before this was announced that it was being cancelled, Netflix got whiff apparently that it was going to get cancelled, and they made the offer to say, well, maybe we could have a chat about it, maybe we might, fund it or whatever. And apparently Amazon just went, no, we're cancelling it, and didn't even have the conversation, wouldn't even sort of think about it. And in the video, I'm sort of saying that, the only thing I can think of there is that they've got a plan for Stargate that they're going with instead, like a movie, a hard reboot or something. But another way of looking at it is maybe that they've knocked Netflix back because they were having because they weren't.
They're second guessing.
They were leaving the door open to maybe change their minds. I'm not naive enough to think that's actually the case. I think it's more likely they're leaving the door open to do a hard reboot. I'm not sure they've actually got a plan for what they want to do with Stargate. They just know it wasn't that. But for me, sorry, go on.
Or I guess I can ask this question in a second. Keep going. My bad.
Okay. The way I'm looking at it though is it's a no risk thing if you let Netflix come and basically pay for it. So why wouldn't Amazon do that and just let them do it and then film it, and because they were ready to go? So why wouldn't Amazon just go, yeah, okay, if you want to pay for it, great. Here you go, put it on Netflix. Unless they've got an idea that they want to do it and they want something else, and so actually them doing that for Netflix doesn't suit. Or maybe it was just something along the lines if Netflix weren't going to pay what they wanted them to pay. But as far as I know, they didn't even entertain a conversation. They just went, no, we're cancelling it. Thanks very much. I imagine this conversation has gone through sort of executives, because a couple of executives from Netflix have moved over to Amazon, and so I think that was probably like backdoor conversations went on. But apparently Netflix were knocked straight back and just go, no, you're right. We're cancelling it. We don't want to go into that. So for whatever reason, Amazon seemed to be very against it. Maybe they thought it would harm the franchise, but I don't think that's the sort of thing. That's the way people like this think. For me, the Netflix thing would have been a no risk, and for some reason they've decided not to.
Well, the only thing that makes logical sense in my mind hearing that is that they have plans to some degree, or they still have ideas that they want to float across the table, and maybe they're maybe they want to try these ideas out, and they're leaving this kind of string out there to tug back at and say, hey, well, maybe we do want to do Martin Garrow's Stargate, but they're leaving it on the table for things that they think at least would be better. And something that comes to mind, which I mentioned when Sarah, Matt, and I talked to James Kerfoot, the guy that's getting all the Save Stargate banners in the Times Square and all that stuff together. We talked to him this past Wednesday. It was something that we discussed a long time ago when you brought it forward, back in our more rumory filled days, which are always a good time. Jordan Peele, do you think this is opening the door for him to come back with this hard reboot idea?
There were a couple of project ideas knocking around that were hard reboots that, again, Jordan Peele was one we know about. Bad Robot was one we know about. Yeah. And there were a couple of others. The thing I talk about in the video is that I wonder if they're pivoting back to one of those ideas that Jen Salke was championing. Maybe it was something like Jordan Peele. He wasn't really available at the time. They pivoted back to. I'm spitballing here completely. I don't know, but maybe Jordan Peele pitched something, wasn't really available. They decided, okay, let's give the series an idea, and then they didn't love what they were seeing with the series. They went back to something like Jordan Peele, and we were just using his name, but it could be anybody, whoever they're thinking about. Yeah. They've gone, actually, we are available. We could do it now if we wanted. So they go, okay, let's go back to plan A. We didn't really want to do this anyway. And I generally don't think they really wanted to do the TV series anyway. They only greenlit one season, which is relatively unusual now with this type of project.
Especially the type of folks they were hiring. If it's going to be this prestige TV, like Fallout, obviously isn't a one-to-one example or anything, but it got greenlit for 2 seasons. I mean,
generally speaking, they do that now.
Yeah.
So I just wonder whether, but yeah, that's not a bad idea either. Something I didn't really discuss in the video particularly, because that's a really good idea. That maybe it is along those lines that they're pivoting back to an idea that they, that they initially couldn't do for some reason, and now they can, and they think that's a better idea. Like and then it'll come down to what do they think they can make more money on, and maybe they think we can make more money on that.
Specifically with Jordan Peele, though, I don't remember exactly, and I can go Google in here in a second. But Monkey Paw Productions, his company, I think is either it has like a first make deal with. I don't think it's Warner Brothers. It might be Paramount, because I think Paramount's where he did his new Twilight Zone series. He did it. I don't remember exactly. It might be
that was Paramount.
It's with one of these larger studios.
I think it is Paramount, because Paramount's where I watched his last film. I'm sure I watched that on Paramount.
Nope.
No, yeah, I think that's where I watched No.
Yeah, I think it's Universal or Paramount, something like that. But I believe it's either the end of last year or the end of this year, or like sometime middle of this year, and it just happened, and which is why it might be fresh in my mind somewhere. His Monkey Paw production studio is losing its first make deal, or the contract's running out really. and that could be why they held off for doing it for a little while, because he would have been contractually obligated to include another studio with it, rather than now it can all be Amazon, because they waited it that long.
And the thing is as well, Amazon might be looking at this thinking, even if it's in 1-2 years that they want to do this, if they do the Martin Gero, Brad Wright, Joseph Malozzi thing, and then decide we're going to do something else, the fans will go apeshit.
Yeah.
And they will be like, no, what you want about? You gave us what we want, so why are you taking away? They might be sort of banking on the fact that, we promised it, but we didn't actually give it them. And if this TV series Martin Gero is good and is popular, we ain't doing this hard reboot that we want to do. So it may be just that the stars have lined up, and now they're like, let's scrap that because we can do the project we actually wanted to do in the first place. Maybe that's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what it feels like to me. Another thought was, and it's a lot less likely, but they could continue with Martin Gero's Stargate and relegate him to or essentially find new showrunners and keep him in the writer's room alongside Malozzi and Brad Wright and so on and so forth, and say, we're going to switch some things up. We still want y'all on board because you know what this franchise is, and we want to keep what it is inherently intact, but it needs new people. And from and I'm not saying I agree with it, of course, but from Amazon's studio perspective is Gero didn't come up with a script or a set of scripts good enough for garnering new audience. Maybe with a new showrunner, someone in charge, they can find a way to not elevate, but enthrall the audience, as well as keep the old one. And having Gero, Wright, and Malozzi still in the writer's room would be some goodwill to be shown. I think that's a lot less likely, but I don't think
they'll have to do something.
The middle ground they find is the only likely. I think if they want to find middle ground with the fans and what they've already started, that would be the not the best approach.
I think whatever they do, though, there's going to be so much anger. I don't think it matters what they do particularly. There's going to be a lot of anger from fans. And if they then announce something else, I don't know if doing it straight away and almost like ripping the Band-Aid off and just getting it done and getting the anger out of the way. But at least we can say, we cancelled the series because of this. Yeah. Or do you sort of let it wait? Do you wait a year or two and let things calm down a bit? And then announce what it actually is you want to do.
Yeah.
If it's a movie, they could be in development 12 months before they have to announce it.
Yeah. Not super likely that it wouldn't get out.
No.
But
right.
You can but hope.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see what happens, mate. But that's what it looks like at the moment, anyway. So we've got more questions is the problem with this Netflix bit of info. I think it's more questions than answers.
Yeah.
It may just be that they just don't want to do anything with Stargate. Sorry.
I said just wait and see again.
It's usual. Well, we've been playing this game for 5 years. So, And to be honest, if you were watching SciTrek, following the story, none of this would surprise you. You listen to Barbara Broccoli talking about how Amazon are a bunch of dicks, and it's like, that's just one more example. The amount
proving it.
The amount they faffed around with Stargate to the point where we're like, I'm getting people commenting about it's on again, off again, on again, off again. What are you doing? And I'm like, it's not me, mate. I'm just telling you what's going on.
Right. Exactly.
It's not my fault.
Information and repeating it. Like, what? I can't change the information. I wish.
Yeah. But that's one of the reasons why I stopped talking about it, even though I was hearing bits and bobs. I'd heard there was a new showrunner. Turned out to be Martin Gero. I heard that there was, thinking all I really said for 12 months was we're going to get an announcement for Christmas, because that was the only thing I was really confident on. Everything else I was not sure, so I just didn't say it. I was hearing bits and bobs, but I didn't say it because people were getting pissed off with it. So just sort of let it go. I heard bits and bobs, but I didn't know Martin Gero, Brad Wright, and everything was involved. But there's just no point talking about it. People are getting annoyed. And it was Amazon's fault, not mine.
Right.
But yeah, okay, guys, I'm going to head off. And then, oh God. And then I will see you all next time.
All right. Do you want to leave it with a little quick question for Monk? If
Go on then,
they
quick.
reboot this, does the traditional fan base campaign against the reboot?
Yeah, we should do, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll tell you what, I couldn't hang around 5 minutes. Is disclosure any good, Sarah?
It's all right. There's some good things about it. There's some bad things about it. I think it just feels like it was trying to be this very like big moment movie, and it just quite didn't pull it off. Like, I think it feels like there was more to the story that got cut or whatever. It doesn't really like hit home, I think, as much as they were hoping it would.
Yeah, it's kind of the reviews I've seen. I ended up not watching it and going to watch Supergirl instead, because that's basically what I heard.
This is the opportunity for Sarah to make the case of, is the Disclosure Day worth going to or not right now, rather than the Supergirl case.
I'm kind of on the fence about it. It's really, I mean, I was excited to see it at first, then I was hearing some bad things about it, so I was like, do I want to see it? And then my husband and I were kind of a choice of like, all right, do we go see Disclosure Day or Supergirl? And I hadn't really, and I thought, okay, Disclosure Day sounds like overall better than Supergirl. So obviously I can't compare the two, but from what you guys said, I think Disclosure Day is probably better than Supergirl, but I don't know, it depends on what you're looking for, you know? I mean, Disclosure Day is not really a popcorn movie. It's more of a make you think about things movie, or it's trying to be that anyway.
It tries to be a light action movie and keep you in the cerebral kind of thought process of what's going on.
Right.
And I don't think it 100. I think because it all looks great. It all, I mean, I guess the animals and some of the CG is not perfect or super,
the
super polished.
CGI is not. But anyway,
you know, it doesn't like take you out of the moment necessarily or anything. Thankfully, but there's just it's not that the film's lackluster, but it's tried and true Spielberg with a really modern take on something. I guess not take on something, but in a modern day setting. And I don't think he's ever actually had a modern day setting. I know he did The Post a couple years ago. He did West Side Story, and he did, of course, Ready Player One. But Ready Player One, even though it's modern, it's in a hyper stylized future or near future.
Yeah, near future.
The Post is in the past. West Side Story is in the past. I don't think he's ever done a film that is up with the times. Besides maybe like Jaws, kind of at the time, even though that was a couple years before.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of his older stuff was, I mean, because Close Encounters is contemporary.
Right.
Close Encounters and E.T., I guess, are contemporary.
And E.T., and I mean, I think he's done a lot of films that are, but I agree. He tends to do, like Schindler's List, was it? He tends to do a bit of a mix. But so do you think this film would be more enjoyable or have less of expectation if it wasn't Spielberg's name attached to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that the problem, do you think, maybe? How would you put it compared to...
The pacing's a little... some of the writing is... But
the pacing was the thing that really was odd for me.
Yeah.
How would you put it with something like Contact or something like that that's quite a cerebral but slow-paced? How would it compare to something like that?
Better.
Yeah.
Contact's better.
Because this doesn't allow you to slow down the pace enough to dive fully into the cerebral and like the intricacies of what's actually happening, and instead allows for a few fun action scenes, but those action scenes are very much what is your average Joe doing? And I guess the protagonist, like Josh O'Connor, is kind of your average Joe, but just ends up having a little bit more information. Emily Blunt's
Yeah.
more like an average Joe kind of character. She's just kind of like, yeah, I'm a news reporter. Haven't ever really found what I need to do. Haven't really found the place I want to go. I keep moving to all these different towns because, hey, it's just I can't find the station that actually respects me or whatever. I just am the hot, cute news reporter, and that's
right. Yeah.
for a second until
Do you think she was trying to, in a way, like seek out Daniel, like moving to these other cities, like before, she made that connection and realized, that they needed to hook up or whatever? I don't know. So maybe that was driving her to keep moving. She was kind of subconsciously trying to find him or something.
It's implied, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It just it doesn't fully take the dive either way.
Right.
It has multiple big ideas, but it doesn't fully dive into either of the main ideas or any of the subtext ideas that are there. Those are there to make you think after the movie, and they do, and they do a good job of. After you leave, you're like, okay, I'm thinking about some stuff, but it's not the movie, it's the concepts and thought processes of the movie that you think about rather.
That is trying to make you think of,
Is this a film that maybe, I was going to say, is this a film that's maybe out of time a little bit? Because, from the ufology type of thing, this film feels like it should have been 5 years ago, or, 10 years ago, when a lot of this was very much in the public domain more than I think it is now. I think this is a film that, like, if COVID hadn't have happened, early 2020 would have maybe had more impact because, those UFO videos are being released by the Pentagon, and that it feels like that sort of like there's this big raw turned into a bit of a
and maybe that inspired this movie. I don't know, but
exactly.
I think probably it is, but maybe it's just 3 or 4 years too late.
Well, I feel like there's a bit of a conundrum because I don't think this film would have been made if it weren't for those things. If it were put out 5 or 10 years ago, it would have been maybe not 5 years ago because that's kind of when he was doing West Side Story and The Post, and those did not make remote money at all. But in more like 10 years ago, 10 years ago, in that kind of Ready Player One kind of stage, I think more people would have naturally just gone to see it. Where this film doesn't get greenlit unless you have all of the kind of UFO, AEP kind of stuff that's been going on the last 5-6 years. But because of that stuff, and because I think like even Corridor Crew, as much as they're going to probably use this movie to talk about the CG and stuff, and as much as I love talking about the Corridor Crew, I don't think they helped this necessarily because they have all the debunking alien videos that they do, and now people are like, well, I saw this alien video here, this alien video here, this person's debunking that, this person's the weather balloon, this is this, whatever, and there's evidence to kind of back that stuff up. I think it made the interest less, even though this film does a really good job about talking about each one of those things. It's one of the specific things that's in the third act they bring up and explore. It's a weird conundrum.
When you watch Supergirl streaming, Sarah, I'll watch Disclosure streaming. I'm not spending 20 quid to go and watch it in the cinema in that case.
I mean, it brings up some interesting concepts, but I don't know. I don't think you have to see it in the theater necessarily. Yeah.
Who made it? Is it Disney by any chance? Because it'll be on cinemas and it'll be on my Disney Plus in 6 weeks, if it is. So I know who made it. It'll be Amblin, so it might be Disney, isn't it?
I don't think so. I think that's more Universal. It's just Amblin and Universal. Amblin and Universal.
Okay.
Oh, Amblin's owned by Disney, isn't it?
No. Amblin is strictly
Spielberg's company. Yeah.
I don't think he ever sold
Universal. It would be more like what, Peacock.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because normally when he does Amblin, it is Disney, isn't it? I thought, or is it Universal? I'm just getting them mixed up.
I don't know.
Amblin films are normally distributed by Disney, aren't they?
No.
I think so.
It is funny that he did start Amblin with Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall. But now
they had a distribution deal with Disney.
It's Universal's Participant Media, Reliance Entertainment, Alibaba Pictures, and Steven Spielberg himself.
Oh, there you go, Universal. Right, so where it will stream here in the UK? Sky.
Y'all don't have Peacock.
Damn it. No, we don't have Peacock. I think they go to Netflix, actually. I think Universal and Netflix got a deal, I think.
Yeah, I think so as well. Because also, he founded DreamWorks, and I'm pretty sure DreamWorks was completely bought out by Universal.
Yeah, I think there was, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I think that's right.
We could Google that too, but
No, I think that's right. Oh, okay. Right, I'll have to wait. It'll go on Sky Movies, so I'll have to wait for it to go on Netflix.
Well,
Fine.
whenever you watch Disclosure Day and Sarah watches Supergirl, we'll do Super Disclosure Girl Day. We'll have Super Disclosure Girl Day and have y'all
Super Disclosure Day. There
come back and give us y'all's thoughts.
Yeah. It sounds like these might go to streaming relatively quickly. We'll see.
Yeah, probably. By the time we finish this conversation, I'll be able to stream it.
Yeah, honestly.
I'll watch it instead of Avatar.
One weekend in cinema.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, we need to get into it because I got.
Yes. Tell us everything you think about it, Sarah.
Well, I went into it without a lot of expectations because I've heard some people didn't like it. So, but I was going to stay open to it and hey, we'll watch it. And overall, I like it. There's definitely some flaws with the movie. I didn't expect the World War III stuff to necessarily be center stage of the movie because obviously the movie is just about us as humanity getting along and listening to each other, as the last word of the movie says. Oh great, now I lost my train of thought. Anyway,
Alexa,
you can go
if you want, James. My alarm. No, it's my alarm. My washing's ready.
Oh my god! I completely my head spaced. I ADHD'd, I guess, or something. I don't know. Anyway,
hey, we went from wet farts earlier to now brain farts. Things happen.
Yes, it's just
Supergirl and now Disclosure. It brings both.
I wanted the World War III stuff to be just a little bit more prominent. I know the movie is supposed to focus on the humanity and thinking about aliens, and it was what's going on in the background? They were at that gas station. And there was people bugging out, obviously. They didn't really explain that. It was just kind of a little note in the background. I was could have this been just, not the centerpiece, but I think that needed to be a little bit, just a tad more obvious that was going on in the background.
If you're putting World War III into a movie, you should know it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. It's they kind of drop hints, so but then sort of towards the end of the movie it becomes more relevant and you're wait, you haven't even really explained what's have at least some exposition or a news anchor in the background giving us a little bit of what the hell is going on there. So that bugged me a little bit.
Shows you it's happening.
Right. I didn't mind the overall story of these aliens, came, they've been visiting Earth and it was very dark, that one. Spoiler alert, people. When Daniel is showing Jane the videos of the experiments on the aliens, that was kind of rough. That part. That was a little bit hard to watch.
Is it that I wanted a little bit more of it to just hone in the point at least? I was seeing it once isn't enough.
Yeah.
Do you care how much we spoil it real quick?
Not okay.
No.
Because they wheel this guy out. They wheel the alien out to show the
that was almost it barely worked. It was almost cheesy.
It was almost cheesy, but it was.
But they kept it just right there.
Just enough. If they would have shown one more torture scene, I think it would have been a good ABC.
Right. Yeah, they didn't show. Obviously they were saying, we got to show all the videos, when they took over the television station and started broadcasting everything. I was are they going to have the world see that? They chose not to go there, but obviously they must have at some point
because they
did it. Yeah, I mean, it was
Which they
interesting to
should've-
see, like, is that a realistic portrayal of how humanity is going to see it? Because Jane, after she finds out, she's like, oh, people are going to think they're gods or whatever. And yeah, there's going to be people that probably would, but I didn't quite agree with her feelings of how it would impact faith. I think it just depends on the people. But we do get that scene later on where she talks to the nun, because she almost became a nun at one point as part of the story.
Yeah.
You know, and the nun is like, oh, God created us to be the superior on earth. So it kind of like helps her kind of keep her faith that, okay, yeah, maybe we are on earth, but that doesn't mean that God didn't, you know, create other beings, other places in the universe or whatever.
I just wanted to be like, what translation was that one? But I didn't want to like.
I mean, I like that. I mean, you know, like me personally, I'm kind of like, well, I don't know if we've had necessarily hard evidence yet that alien life exists, but it makes sense that it would. And, you know, so I'm kind of like, if it turns out there are aliens, oh, that's not really a surprise. If it turns out there's not, okay, that's kind of a bummer. It would be nice that there's other sentient beings in the universe. But, you know, I'm kind of, I guess, agnostic would be the right word about it.
As somebody who used to have a mystery channel that looked into an awful lot of these things over the years, there is no credible hard evidence that aliens have ever visited the Earth. There is always something about it. You go, yeah, no, that could be very easily something. Even those videos that look 100% like that's got to be aliens. That doesn't work. Yeah, they've been quite convincingly debunked since.
Corridor debunks really well.
Yeah, the fact that there's
they do.
Yeah, and just without going into it too much, there is almost certainly life in our solar system. You know, but it'll be bacterial, and there's almost certainly life.
There's
it's probably everywhere.
There's microbial life in the skies of Venus. We know that. So there are aliens. It's just not.
Yeah, they're not sentient beings. But it'd be interesting to know. I don't know if we'll ever know in our lifetime, but yeah.
There is I don't think that was confirmed actually about the Venus thing, right? But there are anemones, single cell possibly, they think, don't they? But there is almost certainly bacterial life and stuff everywhere. The fact that intelligent life, though, it's really, really hard. You need a moon that's kind of like ours, and our moon is possibly quite unusual. So it's getting intelligent life might be quite difficult. But anyway, they'll be so far apart.
Project Hail Mary, we have these sentient rocks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we might come across life and not even recognize it. It could be very difficult, but it's probably everywhere. This big life, it's a bit difficult. Yeah. But and
maybe because we're science fiction fans, we're more open to the idea of aliens, and like aliens showing up wouldn't really be like as much of a shock as maybe people that aren't sci-fi fans. I don't know.
We look at. I've never seen a single UFO abduction story. Lots of them are really weird. Lots of them you go, I can't quite explain that, but none of them are like that. It's definitely aliens. There's always it's either aliens or that person was mental, and there's always that. But even those stories about there's an astronaut, Cooper, saw aliens, but then you actually look at the rest of his life, and he was a bit of a con man. He got into trouble for all sorts of things. So, like selling fake car parks to, I think it was the Argentinians, and he had to literally run from the country when they realised it was a bunch of scrap he'd sold them. There's all sorts of stories like that. Every single one I looked into, you get to a point you go, crap, it's another one that's bullshit. Unfortunately, Jay define intelligent. You see, that's a different argument as well, secular. Just to settle the argument between secular and not argument, but conversation. Yes, HMV does still have physical stores. They have about 50, and yes, CEX is still a thing. You Americans don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
CEX is a computer company?
No, they buy and sell stuff. They do rip you off. So you buy, and you can sell them your like old PlayStation or old records and things like that, and they buy them off you for about 25 pence, and they sell them for like 30 quid.
Oh, kind of like a Radio Shack or a GameStop or something.
Yeah. We got cash converters and CEX are the two in this country, but HMV basically became a record. Yeah, they sell records.
Companies here that do that kind of thing too.
Yeah.
You can sell them your old iPhones or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of like a pawn shop, aren't they? Really, but you haven't got the option to buy any of it back. Kind of like a pawn shop.
You can go into Walmart even now, and if you have an old phone, they have like a little kiosk machine that you just put your old phone in quick, and it will give you it back if it's not like deemed good enough or whatever. But they're like, if you want 25, 50 bucks, $200, whatever it's deemed, you just walk in, hand it, and do it. You know,
it's kind of a way to launder stolen phones too.
The reason I learned about that is because I got robbed at gunpoint, and my phone was brought to one of those things, and I was like, "Oh, this is the last location. Great."
Woo! I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to call it an evening. Sorry.
All right. Bye.
I'm gonna go watch Avatar. So and my washing's done, and I know somebody's waiting to use the washing machine. We share a washing machine, so I'm gonna get yelled at. All right, guys. It's good to see you.
Hopefully, enjoy.
All right.
Oh, fingers crossed. See you later, guys.
Bye. Bye.
All right, I know you are short on time as well here, and it is.
I can do like 10 minutes maybe, or a little bit less, just to kind of finish.
Maybe with Good and Bad and Ugly, Disclosure Day.
The good of the movie, if we're talking about the story or the Emily Blunt's performance is very good in this movie. There's a scene where she has a full-blown panic attack, freak out, and you feel it, and it's very real, and like you almost start having a panic attack yourself. Just watching it. So her performance is very well done in this movie. That's probably the best thing about this movie. But as far as like the story, the best part of the story is just the overall message. I think it's trying to say of we need to listen to each other and have empathy. Because if you remember, like Hugo gets into the, when him and Noah, Colin Firth's character, have that discussion where he holds the bar and does that, where he can take control of people's minds. That was pretty trippy. And, where him and Hugo are having that conversation, and he's like, I got to shut this down because humanity can't handle this knowledge. It'll make everything in the world go crazy. And Hugo's more like, no, we just need to have we need to have empathy. These aliens have empathy, and they're here to help us, to share with us, blah blah blah, whatever. So the overall message, I think, is good. The bad is some of the pacing, and there was a couple little nitpicky things if we want to get into it, like when they're at the farmhouse and he's out in the field or whatever, and Noah takes over Jane and like brainwashes her to kill him or whatever. But when he's coming back and they're swarming the Noah's group, Vortex, or whatever the name of that company was.
Vortex,
we're swarming the farmhouse, and he comes up on that fence line and like just walks up to a car and steals it, and nobody notices. I mean, he tries to sneak, but it's so like, no way nobody saw him coming from a mile away. It was so stupid. Him crashing through the house and stuff was cool, but and then later on when they do that drive it off the cliff thing, where they have plenty of time to like set that up to drive it off the cliff, and again nobody sees them hiding behind the rock right there. It's kind of stupid, and they never explain, like, okay, they go off, the car goes off the cliff and they just leave. Like they don't there's no line anywhere that they found bodies or didn't find bodies, or
they were going to send divers,
right? And they never explain,
they never follow up. Yeah.
Right. So obviously they, and then it's just they know they're still alive. It's like they never explain. I know these are like little tiny who really cares things, but those were just funny kind of standout things in it. When they were in the warehouse where we see Margaret's childhood home that they recreated to get her to go.
Emily Blunt did so good with that stuff.
Yeah,
too.
She was really good at that. Right, because they want her to remember, because both her and Daniel got abducted by aliens and had these things downloaded into their brains where he can really understand mathematics, which is I guess the language of the universe. Everybody always says it's mathematics. And she has more of, that empathetic, the power that she has to just, because at one point Daniel gets captured by the Vortex or whatever group, and they both kind of don't remember what happened to them as kids, that they were taken by aliens and had this stuff done to them. I'm skipping around in the wrong order a little bit here, but
well, they do in the film a little bit too.
Margaret goes to save Daniel from Noah's group, and she just knows things about people by looking at them, and it's kind of dumb that she can just say, oh, blah 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 about your life, and they're like, just let her go. They don't change, she gets challenged, and the fact that she can say things about them, like they're like, oh, and like let her do whatever.
Somebody would have been angry and like hit them hard or something, It would have been like, you shouldn't have told me that or something, some like traumatic thing or something.
Yeah. It did remind me of X-Files a bit, Peter. It did. There's things. So just her knowing stuff about people that became like a superpower of just shutting people down because she knew it was kind of dumb. Anyway, they do escape. They hook up with Hugo's got a group of people, and they're on the side of everybody on Earth, knowing all the information about the aliens, and kind of let's trust humanity to figure it out or whatever. So in this warehouse, they've recreated Margaret's childhood home because they want her to remember what happened to her, how she met the aliens and all of that. And so when she was a little girl, the aliens showed up in her room appearing as forest animals. Like one was a big like stag deer and a fox and a raccoon, was it? And a cardinal.
The cardinal.
Right. And they just kind of, look into each other's eyes and communicate whatever. And she follows them to this sort of like, she calls it like a Hansel and Gretel looking house in the woods. But actually it's sort of like, it's like a portal to like whatever their spaceship or base or whatever it is, where they do that stuff to mess with their head and stuff. And we don't get Daniel's story really. He's just there. With her, and they hold hands and they get this thing. So they then all the memories of everything come back to them, and how they're being used by these aliens, and Hugo does this thing of like, oh, there had to be two, but they never explain why was it only two of, and why were they the ones that were chosen? That's never explained. It's just told to you that there had to be two, but they don't explain why. I mean, you can infer that, they wanted a, male and female to kind of, and they each, where he did the mathematical side, she did the more empathetic side, whatever. And why was it when they were adults that this came to be, where I think maybe hitting more on the World War III thing would have made more sense or whatever. Because why didn't the kids just come out as kids and like, I mean, they didn't have the files and all of that stuff, I guess, or why didn't Hugo, who had the alien dude like living with him or whatever, like, why not just, hey, let's do a live stream with my alien friend here. I mean, why not just, it's kind of like, I mean,
there are some glaring oddities. That is for sure.
Yeah. But anyway, so there's some things that don't quite add up, which makes me feel like there was more to this story that we didn't get put on film. Like how the World War III thing played into it, why it was now was the time for this disclosure day to happen. They don't explain exactly why now had to be the time for this to come out.
The more I think about this movie,
I know I'm really selling it. It's not horrible. I mean, it's not a bad movie. I'm just pointing out some of the, but there's good things about it. Like I said, there's they have all these videos starting from that time till now showing different, they have all the footage of all the recordings of spaceships and things like that, and they show a lot of that in the end when they're releasing all this information.
Well, and Colin Firth's character had multitudes of aliens. He runs the organization that's been like the people that cleaned up Roswell and cleaned up Area 51 and clean up here and clean up here.
Right, yeah, he's like the Men in Black organization, basically.
He was trying to stop the information from coming out there, not the aliens themselves. He's like, oh yeah, they exist on the planet. People just can't know that. That's what he was saying.
Because he felt the world would fall apart if we do, and we don't get an answer to that question because they kind of drop the bomb of, hey, aliens are real. Let's all listen to each other. Bye. We don't really get what happens after that.
No.
What happened to the world after that, it was just kind of left to your imagination, I guess, or what you think would happen.
Though, I don't think there are really many plot holes in this movie. I don't think there's a single plot hole in this movie that I can just come up with off the top of my head, at least.
Right. There's kind of lack of information, but I think it tells a story. Whether or not it always is perfect and makes complete sense is another thing, but I think it tells a story.
It's just so convoluted for what they actually have, which is a lot of information. And it's a 2 hour, 23-minute film, 2 hour, 26-minute film, I actually think it is.
Right.
So it's a lengthy thing. But I think with the story they had at hand, it needed to be 6 to 10 hours. I think a one season, like a mini series of Disclosure Day, would have been better in the sense of I think for the film we have, World War III and the religious aspect should have been taken out. If they wanted to tell the story that they told us, I think they should have taken those two things out. Those are some of the most interesting things in the movie, but have to be glossed over because of the other interesting things that are running the actual plot forward.
Right.
If they had time in a miniseries to do this, I think it'd be one of the best miniseries ever made. And you know what you could start it with, which, if I had to do Good, Bad, and Ugly really quickly, the good, the whole movie.
A wrestler stomping on a camera. No.
And the good are the concepts, the ideas, and what the movie's trying to bring forward, the message behind it, everything. I actually really do like this movie in a lot of ways. The bad is it's too convoluted, and that over-convolution makes the final message and the whole movie feel lackluster. Because
you kind of have to piece. I mean, I don't necessarily need a movie that spoon feeds me everything, but they kind of leave a little bit too much for you to have to piece together yourself. Just a tiny bit.
I don't
necessarily hate that, but
the third act feels more documentary like. Besides the scenes where you see when it gets to all the different reporters getting the information, it feels documentary like, and I really like that. I just needed another couple scenes to end it off. I don't need a Lord of the Rings Return of the King 6 different endings, but I need maybe 3 or 4 on this one realistically, just because it tackles so much. And if it weren't going to be a miniseries, a Lord of the Rings sized film is what this needed to be to tell the full encapsulating story it was trying to tell.
It would be nice to get like, why were they the ones chosen? Why does there need to be 2?
Because then you get more information. You have more time to dive to that necessary information.
Right. I mean, if you put, maybe like somehow the World War III thing is putting pressure on the Earth. Like, they're about to, I know it's not really super original, but something really bad and destructive is about to happen, and these aliens, the knowledge of aliens existing, disrupt that from happening, kind of thing. And that would have felt better because we didn't see. It's kind of, again, like you said a second ago. There's just I don't want to be spoon fed, but there's just a little too much inference that's required. It is required to infer about this, infer about that, rather than, hey, don't just imply that all of these newscasters across the world
and everybody seeing this across the world is like, oh, well, we need to switch to the alien stuff outside of the war. Oh, we can't switch off the war. What do you mean? Oh,
Right.
we have to switch off of that and watch this. Yes, we see
Right.
that, but we don't
Yeah.
see, and we see the reporters, but we don't see many
Mhm.
people on the street reacting to it on their phones or anything like that. Where, or
Right. We just see
Or
people
what was
looking at their
the-
phones with kind of like these like
oh, and we really get to
looks
see
on their faces. That's all we get. Hmm.
we get the religious kind of viewpoint because it's like
Right.
it wanted to make that point, so that's the
Mhm.
kind of viewpoint you get from it. But
Right.
realistically, we needed soldiers in the middle of a battle shooting at each other or whatever,
Right.
something that kind
Yeah.
of thing.
I mean,
And
they
stop.
showed like some North Korean soldiers on a truck watching their phones or something, but
Cool, it's driving away, but like, we
whatever.
need
Yeah.
that battle sequence,
Mhm.
not for the sake of a battle sequence, but for the sake of it
Right.
stopped the battles. It
Right.
halts it. immediately.
Yeah, and I wonder if the original script or original story had more of that,
Yeah.
and they just kind of cut it down to just strictly the alien stuff.
Yeah, the need to know essentially.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
the ugly that I would give it.
Hmm. Oh, I didn't even get to that.
The best, and it comes from the best scene in the whole movie. At least my favorite scene in the whole movie. Maybe not the best, but it's one of those. You have two good actors, and you always
Mhm.
want your actors to be doing something.
Mhm.
But if the conversation and what's happening is that good, you can just you like a dinner with Andre. You just have a couple guys sitting across a table acting their freaking hearts out, and it's
Mhm.
great.
Yeah.
My favorite scene, and arguably the best scene I think in the whole film, is Colin Firth and Coleman Domingo's Hugo and Noah
Right. Yeah, when they have that.
having that conversation, sitting there.
Mhm. Yeah. That's one of the
Oh.
best parts of the movie. Yeah. Hmm.
It's beautiful, and Coleman Domingo doesn't have a
Mhm.
lot to do in this movie.
Right.
Everything that conversation onwards, you're like, oh, this is why they hired Coleman Domingo, because everything that he has to do in the movie is he's the most important character. He's the most important
Right.
character in the movie, realistically.
Yeah,
And
he's the one that freed the alien and put this whole group together.
Well, and that's the ugly. While they're having the best conversation in the entire movie, I'm
Oh.
like, can I watch that movie? What? Like,
Yeah.
my mom, dad,
Mhm.
and I, because I went to go see it with my parents while I was in town.
Mhm.
We walked out, and I was like, "Do you
Mhm.
remember that conversation when Colin? I almost said Colin Farrell. Colin Firth is he's well, 5 years ago you did this and yada yada and
Right.
what made you change?" And
Right.
Hugo, Coleman Domingo's response is, "When you changed." And
Mhm.
and of course that is prompted by Hugo had taken the alien that he was torturing,
Hmm.
did a rescue attempt, did it successfully.
Right.
So Colin Firth's Noah never knew that it was Coleman Domingo's Hugo that did this. And he's saying, "You walked into my door every day for the last 5 years. I thought you
Right.
were my friend, and you lied to my face on a daily basis.
Right.
What made
Yeah.
you change?"
I'm gonna
when-
have to get out of here.
Right.
I
Well-
would love to sit and talk longer, but I can
We-
tell the neighbors are
We
getting
can do
restless.
more throughout the week. We can do more
Okay.
Sunday again next
Okay.
week. There's plenty to talk
Right.
about.
All right. Well, I'll see you tomorrow, right? So,
Yes,
About the same.
tomorrow, Farscape 350. Sarah and I are just talking about Farscape,
Mhm.
the Peacekeeper Wars, and what we think about the entirety of the series as a whole.
Yeah.
Come join us. Do we want to do that Patreon only, or do we want to maybe expand that one?
Up to you. Either is fine with me.
We'll message about it.
Okay. All right.
And y'all let us know in chat which one you prefer as well, of course.
Okay.
But yeah,
All
that
right,
will
I
be
will
our
see you
disclosure
tomorrow.
day talk.
Bye.
Toodles. See you tomorrow.
Mhm.
Expand. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, talk about expand. There's my full face. Yes. Before I jump out of here, I have them like put around the place. Monk, thank you. Of course, if y'all remember, Monk 3D printed first this Artemis patch and the Zatnicatel right here, and then sent the ZPM right after. Oh, let me see. That was scary. Oops. Besides, let me see if I can get this up. This is a really good it's too actually I can move this one. I'm like, the other things are so well in place I don't want to necessarily move them. Talk about a scary angle. Here you go. Ryan Gosling in the astrophage. I just saw the almost had a heart attack comment. Monk's a teacher's pet, or am I the teacher's pet? Because Monk's the actual teacher out of all of us. Let me see if I can get you far enough over here. I don't want to necessarily move these because they're pretty well set over here now. If you look up here, this is a Stargate. It looks like the Antarctica Stargate. And let me know, Monk, did you paint that as well? Did you paint this one? Because, good God, it's really painted well. And then I think this one's just different prints with different, or the same print with different colors. And it's Fallout. It's the Pit Boy saying, "Stay fit, stay focused." And your regular stuff there. And I totally put my Stargate patches he gave. Somewhere in here. Get y'all a better viewpoint there. That was printed, the Stargate as well. Wow. Okay. What did I do with those two? He gave me the because I was gonna put them up on this little wall I have, this little cork board with a Guauld, Jaffa, and then Daniel, Sam, Jack, and Teal'c. I think I might even still have it sitting over here. No, I don't have it sitting over here. What did I do with those things? Oh my God, that's gonna drive me crazy. Let me grab this. Oh God, and this as well, because these two are awesome prints. We got the Stargate, we got the Fallout, we got the Project Hail Mary running by and everything there. You got to have a little Star Trek. And I have it in my little tiny Star Trek box corner over here. It'd just be kind of hard to get that camera situated right or whatever. You got to do a little Star Wars. And it looks wonderful. Oh, Quest, you got the shirt and mug. Haven't opened them yet. You want to come on real quick and do a live opening maybe? Yeah. Let us do a little shameless plug real quick. That'd be cool. I'll probably be here for the next just few minutes. I might make it to 2 hours here. If you're down to just pop on real quick and say howdy. And you said they're advertised as keychains. Yeah, because they had the little that's what I was talking about with the cork board, the little spot where you would put your keychain through. That's what I guess I was trying to put them on. Let me see if I can show you over there. That cork board back there has, Jack, Sam, Teal'c, and Daniel. If you can kind of see those four figures right there. They're just all pinned up on a cork board. That way they're all stickers, but I don't want to mess up the sticker necessarily. And I'm, keeping it simple in that sense. Where did I put those things? That's going to drive me nuts because I was doing this all day yesterday. I don't know. Having mic troubles. Might need a new one. Uh-oh. Do you think there will be a mic by Thursday by chance? If you check the Creatures and Cryptids group chat, we could do a little Bigfoot talking this Thursday. Apparently there are some skeptics or a skeptic, so self-prescribed skeptic that found or I guess saw Bigfoot for a little bit or whatever, Sasquatch apparently, and it's revitalized the stuff. So that might be a fun thing to talk about Thursday if possible. Oh, 4 years old Mike, that'll do it. And yeah, Monk, if you wanted to come on board and talk a little bit about that. I know we mentioned that earlier. It is summertime now. If you're down, we'd love to have you. I definitely did not lose these things though. They're going to be like perfectly propped up in just a weird space. I don't know what weird space I chose. I have so many weird spaces in this room. I don't know what I did with it. Might need to get a webcam, but yes. Ooh. Yeah, y'all both messaged me. I don't know how I could be of help necessarily, but I will try one way or another. Because there's good ones that are still cheap. There's stuff like that. Yada yada yada. Room, you mean garage, right? Yeah, but the garage is technically right there. We're in the fancy mud room that's not attached to the house at all. But it's still a roomish because there's the giant knot door in the middle that goes right to the garage. But we do what we can. I'm desperate to find these 2 Stargate pins, keychain pins. I guess pin's really not the right word, but keychain medallion. It wouldn't be a charm. And it would be right here. I didn't put them inside the house. Let me know if you have any other decorating needs for the studio. You can 3D print a lot of things. Needs? None. But if you get an inkling and have a fun idea, everything you've sent so far is so damn good that it deserves to be on a wall or on display somewhere. So they're on display. But yeah, anything you're sending so far is definitely display worthy and has been put there very quickly. In this case, too quickly, because I can't find what I did with the freaking Stargate thing. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more I get frustrated about where the hell they are. It takes a second, but I could 3D print a wearable Darth Vader helmet. Well, if we get into Star Wars streams, might not be a bad idea. Might not be. It'd be kind of fun. I don't know. It would be funny. Cinema Stargate bong. That would be on brand. I don't know if I can display that as much, but it would be fun. I have to Google if it was safe to use and if the resin was okay. I think I've had 3D printed like bongs and stuff before. I'm pretty sure it's safe to use because it's a silicone base in the form of a ZPM. Oh God, don't give them ideas. That's too good. That'd be really good. Don't need to do that by any means. But if you do, it would be utilized. Or DHD. Monk's putting his engineering hat on. Stoner ingenuity, baby. I love it. I'm going to find these things real quick. I'm just walking around and placing the Star Trek and the Star Wars prints back where they were. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, I don't know where the hell I set these things. Oh, I found them. They're just not visible. They are visible technically. Let's see. I'm just apparently blind as well. Y'all see these 2 little small figures right here? They're right there. They were right by the Zat gun and the ZPM and just completely walked by them about 6 times. I'll grab them now. And that way, we can actually check them out. Nibbler was hiding them from us. The old Futurama Nibbler was hiding them from us. But these are badass. Of course, you got to go Atlantis. I might be a little privy to the Atlantis one. But at the same time, you can't beat home. You can't beat home. The OGs. It's too good. You treat me too well. Which, trying to treat you back for a little bit of that, because thank you so much. There may be another shirt on the way too. Just let me know. But no, thank you for all the support you always give, and always, the fun trinkets and stuff are just an added bonus. And hey, if I can send a little love back towards you, we are. We shall. We also need something for the Chevron Award statue next year. Can we make that the bong? It would be so fun. Should stick them on the SciTrek shop. Ooh. I don't know how I would do that. Because the shop we have, we're using fourth wall, and fourth wall is great, and things are a little pricey, but I chose the quality over quantity kind of thing, just because I'd rather, if someone's going to get a SciTrek shirt, I'd like them to have it for years rather than, oh, cool, it's a fun little printed shirt that lasts 8, 10, 12 months and then just gets tossed, or gets messed up in the wash or anything like that. Might have a little bit more pricey than the average thing, but if you're going to get a product from the SciTrek stuff, it's going to be solid. If we were to try to, I'd love to actually talk with you about that, Monk, if you want to, put some of your prints onto something like that. I don't think we can do it to fourth wall directly, but we could figure something out. I'd love to do that. And thank you, good sir. Thank you. I hope you enjoy it. Speaking of the SciTrek shop, on a thick chain, just for the sake of it, I don't know if we've actually done this and gone through. These aren't my prints; they're from the Maker World website. I see. Well, then, yeah, that would make it a little. I don't think we'd legally be able to do that if that were the case, but hey, if you ever come up with prints or something like that, we could open that doorway, and figure that out. But yeah, real quick, I'm gonna just scroll through this because we've hit our 2-hour mark. The old SciTrek shop, I guess the old SciTrek shop, the new SciTrek shop. There's 10 other colors besides that, and kind of see how everything looks in different colors. I do. I like that green on there. I have this one, but blue. I really like it. I think this is the one that Jay has. The logo hoodie. I kind of want to. I want to order myself an apron, but I've been ordering too many things, so I can't afford to do that just right now, especially with Amazon Prime Day in the last week. Which idea? Good sir? Because 10% is not much. You don't make a lot of money off of anything like this on these sites. It's just for the love of the game, and that's why I chose the quality over. I guess it's not quantity technically, but I'd rather shoot for quality on all of these products rather than just get it there quickly and print it on some BS and send it over. I want these to actually last, which so far all the things that have come in seem to be really good quality, and that makes me happy. Yes, please. Yes, please. But yeah. Hey, SciFi Sundays, your favorite day of the week. My favorite day of the week. Actually depends on the week, because sometimes when we're talking Fallout, I love me some Fridays or Thursday nights, I guess. And sometimes when we're talking Stargate, I love me some Wednesdays. Sometimes Farscape Mondays. I don't know. It just depends what's happening on that week. But yeah, lots of good little designs on here. Obviously, don't feel the need to go grab anything if you don't want to. We were just talking about it, so bringing it up while we can, you know. But yeah, I really do love these designs. Matt, of course, made the majority of the designs, and I guess I designed the shirts and stuff themselves. I do love this on the spine and stuff. I just ordered myself one of those. We're gonna see if it's any good. But yeah, of course. I might have designed the t-shirts, but Matt made the designs to put on the t-shirts and, you know, all these ancillary products. And that dude can make a good logo, if you can't tell. The old creatures and cryptids. And of course, y'all seen all this. Oh my God, we're in the middle of both of these right now. Disclosure Dayception, SciTrekception. Hoo-hoo. Hoo-hoo-hoo. And of course, go Discord, Instagram, Twitter, or YouTube from the website itself. Or, you know, click on this for the YouTube stuff. And I need to actually start posting on our SciTrek Instagram, because then maybe things pop up here, because I think we only have one technical post. But yeah. No Sci Chef, this needs to happen. Okay, yep, that gives me the perfect excuse, honestly. That makes sense. Well, hey, we can do that a little easier on like a self-made shop. I still need to. We need to put a folder together of all the different things you send, and have like a category for each. So we can just, you know, it's so hard to go through Messenger sometimes. Not that hard. It's just more tedious to. And then sometimes I have to make sure if it's copyrightable or not. You know, 'tis a process, but hey, let's use some. No bathrobe or dressing gowns. I'm disgusted. We got sweatpants. It's got the SciTrek logo and the SciFi Sundays rocket down there. You know? Sky rockets in the night. Afternoon. How does that song go? Sky rockets in flight. Afternoon delight. Isn't that how? Or am I going crazy? Well, Jay wouldn't ask for it. Jay needs the SciTrek catheter we still have to make. Stormy would like the SciTrek plug, as you put it. You know. But yeah. That's all fun. So it's rocket in my pants. But of course. Yeah, I think that's all I got. Yeah. Besides that, oh, your designs were copyright free? Okay. It's just the music that's not, besides the one that you just sent. I think. You might have to correct me on that too. Housekeeping, I guess, because we've already done a little bit of housekeeping. Of course, tomorrow we'll have Farscape 350. I'm leaning towards making that a broader topic. So putting it public rather than strictly Patreon. Then, of course, Wednesday, we're back with your SciTrek maneuver. Tuesday this week, I do have company in town, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to start it this Tuesday. If not, it will be the following Tuesday for sure. But we'll get back into YouTube member streams. And I'm one thing that I am watching this week is a bunch of because I'm on episode 21 or 22. I think it's 22, I believe, of Enterprise season 2. So I've essentially watched full 2 seasons of Enterprise, and then we'll get into YouTube membership watches with that again. And before we get into our super busy Thursday and Friday, the following Monday is when Sarah and I are going to start our Battlestar Galactica Patreon watch through. And I believe now that the old TV shows are back up on a streaming service. I think it's like Tubi or something like that, but we should be able to watch chronologically everything that should be happening as it happened within their universe. Obviously, starting with the old Battlestar Galactica, then we'll catch up and watch, I think, Caprica first, and then BSG miniseries, then the series, and the little different TV movies they had along the way, and really do that. That makes sense. It confuses me. I'm like, I don't know exactly what's what half the time. But yeah, the classic BSG, I'm pumped for it. I'm actually just as excited to watch that as I am for the new stuff, because I feel like I know a little bit about the new stuff. Not a whole bunch, but I'm such a Edward James Olmos and a Katie Sackhoff fan that it's like, hey! So I generally know a little bit about their characters, not much outside of that, or the fact that Cylons are like everywhere now. But I still only know that Cylons are robots that became more humanoid over time. I'm guessing it's like a sentient robot species, but that's about as far as I know. So we'll dive into that as long as we can, which would be a good one. We lasted 50 weeks of Farscape, so I think it's going to roughly be about 45 to 50 weeks of watching Battlestar original to the new stuff as well. Yeah. We're gonna. I've always learned that chronological is the best. Chronological at least allows you to talk about what you're watching in a more educated sense, rather than kind of just spitballing around as you feel like it, or as. And there are different ways to watch things, of course. Star Trek and Star Wars are the easiest examples of that. But if you watch something truly chronological, you should be able to have better conversations about it. Not always the case, but hey, talking toasters. But yeah, we're talking the original Battlestar series, like the 77, the TV movie that was made kind of like a pilot for a new series that I don't think ended up being a new series. I think that was like 1980. There might be one other thing that I'm just not remembering off the top of my head in between those and then the New Age stuff, because then we'll watch excuse me, we will watch Caprica first because it's the prequel. Then we'll watch the miniseries. I don't remember if there's a TV movie in between a couple of those things. And then we're going to watch the actual, I think it's 3 or 4 seasons. I believe 4 seasons of BSG. And then we'll do, accordingly, chronologically, we'll do the TV movies that are part of that series. But including the 1978 film, yes, that might be what I'm actually trying to say. Maybe it was a film, TV series, and then a pilot that didn't end up getting fully produced after the fact? Or was it a TV series that went into a movie that was supposed to set up more, and I don't think they ever picked up? I don't know. The film came before the show. Okay. Well, then we're starting with that thing. As long as it's chronological on the timeline. I know. It's the caveat. But it is what it is, But yeah. Well, that's why I'm testing that theory. I don't think anybody has watched Star Trek in chronological order, at least since all the new Trek stuff has happened. And it's taken me a while because I'm sorry, but Star Trek's still not my favorite thing, even 2 seasons into Enterprise. And I know Enterprise might not be the greatest litmus test for that, but all these other shows, just listening to Greg and Sarah and helping them produce SciTrek Maneuver and stuff. All the old shows take a season or 2 before they actually get anywhere. That's a lot of waiting and I'm gonna sit through it. I told y'all I would, and it's taken longer than expected, so I'm gonna do it. But it's just a lot to slog through. I think slog is the proper term. Wish it weren't. I would love to be more excited about Star Trek, but I haven't seen anything to be excited about realistically. Right, wrong, or indifferent, and I hope that opinion changes and evolves as I see more of it. But hey, chronological. We'll see if chronological Trek encapsulates the brain or not. So far, it ain't working, but hey, we gotta try. But Rebel Without a Cause and driving Jay crazy. That's what we're here for. That's what we've kept around for. Unlike modern shows that take 3 seasons before they realize, they get a good first season and then never make it past to season 3 because they're like, well, this really good story only makes this amount of whatever, versus back in the day, well, we have a really cool concept. Let's just play with it for a bit. I'm not saying one's necessarily better than the other. Both have produced amazing TV shows and both have produced some shite, but tis what it is. All that being said, though, we're running up on 2 hours 15 minutes now, which means 15 minutes of me rambling and trying to find these things under Nibbler's feet right there. Slippery little Futurama aliens. But I think we're gonna go ahead and call it a day. Y'all got the housekeeping. Oh, I didn't actually finish the housekeeping. Y'all know this Monday, tomorrow, Farscape 50, Farscape Freon 50. Battlestar Galactica next Monday is when we'll start that. But Wednesday this coming week, of course, is a SciTrek Maneuver week. Thursday and Friday are going to be interesting. And they're going to be chock full of some stuff. Thursday morning, it's looking like it might just be Sarah and I. Hopefully Greg's able to finish Silo season 2. Excuse me. By Thursday morning. That way we can discuss Thursday morning Silo season 2. And then Silo season 3 begins airing at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So midnight Eastern Time. And I believe that's going to be middle of the night that'll be 5 a.m., I guess, for most of y'all Brits. That'll be a little hard for y'all, but we'll watch. And it might just be me doing the watch party as well. But maybe it'll be Greg and I. I don't think Sarah will make it for the watch parties, but maybe it's going to be Greg and I. At least this first one is probably myself, but we'll see. For Silo Season 3. And then because the first episode drops at 9 p.m. on Thursday evening, Friday morning, for your regularly scheduled Radical Wasteland podcast. We'll be back, of course, to talk Silo Season 3, the premiere. Thursday evening as well, if we're able to make it work. Monk and Quest, y'all let me know where y'all's heads are at with it. But Thursday would be really fun if we're able to get Creatures and Cryptids back up and running this week. It's going to be busy for the next few weeks on Thursday evenings, one way or another. And that would be 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. So 4 hours prior to the live stream watch party, which should only be a watch party. Those are only about an hour long typically. I think Silo episodes are typically 45 to 50 minutes. Some are about an hour. A premiere might be longer, might be closer to an hour. So Thursday evening is going to be busy, as well as morning and Friday morning. But that'll be a lot of fun stuff happening. So just keep y'all aware about that. And you'll see me on all of those streams. It is up in the air what the Silos streams are going to be looking like for Thursday morning, evening, and Friday morning. But yeah, no such thing as Bigfoot. Prove me wrong, anyone. Well, maybe somebody will Thursday. I'm going to come in as a skeptic, I think, as well, is my approach. But I'd love to see Secular Monk kind of convince us, because he's been a Bigfooter for a while. You know, he lived in the land of the big feet, the Sasquatch. Did y'all watch that Jesse Eisenberg and Riley Keough movie? Was it Sasquatch Sunset or something like that? It was really weird, but really good in its own really weird way. Definitely not your regular movie. Would be kind of fun to dive into on a maybe future episode of Creatures and Cryptids down the line. Realistically, I would, if this week happens, fingers crossed we can make that work. We will dive into the Bigfoot conversation. And the following week, our second episode back, I'd love to dive into the Burrows and kind of talk a little bit more about that and its cancellation, why Netflix would have canceled, and so on and so forth. Because that's a great little creature filled season of television. Yeah, I guess that's a good way to say that. But yeah, big Sasquatch exists. Ask anyone. It's a documentary. The Sasquatch Sunset, or whatever it actually is called, very much acts like a documentary, and it's really fun. Well, that'll be fun to dive into. Quest also said, I still have to watch House of the Dragon Season 3 episodes. Yeah, the Battle of the Gullet episode was really solid. I'm not as high on it as I think most folks are. Just because I really like Ryan Condal as a showrunner and a filmmaker. It's not that I couldn't care less. It's the fundamental story of Game of Thrones is not. Maybe it's partially the Targaryens, sure. But it's also how those in power in a world like that interact with the small folk, and the small folk interact with them, and the fundamentalities that ebb and flow within that. And Ryan Condal said it himself was, oh, well, we're more interested in maybe shortening and combining some of the storylines from the books to put them into Targaryen storylines. And the thing that is really blatantly in your face about that is the sheep stealer scenes in this one. You'll see what I'm talking about when you get there. But I really love House of the Dragon Season 1. Season 2 has some really high highs, but those lows are not necessarily bad. I don't think the choices behind them were good. I think the choices behind the lows were bad and led to the lows. They're not boring. They're just drawn out. Yeah, the lack of nettles is stupid, baby. It's not. Why would you get rid of nettles? It takes away such good stuff for Damon's storyline too. And I like that we get is it Alice Rivers is I think her name expanded on a little bit, but I understand why it's still stupid. Sorry, Ryan Condal, you're amazing. That decision was not. Simple as that. Simple as that. And there's a lot of small examples of that throughout the House of the Dragon series. Some in season 1, sure, mainly season 2 onwards, and you could tell that George wasn't involved in season 2, and you can really tell that season 3 is not George involved, which sucks after how great A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms was. Like, talking about the plane back and forth from Holiday to Africa and back. While my dad was on the plane, he'd watched the first 3 episodes of Knight of the Seven Kingdoms and was just like, this isn't regular Game of Thrones. It's really not kind of fitting my vibe. And, you know, he's turned 70 this year, so he's a little bit older. And I can kind of get that those first few episodes were more zany, more, I mean, you literally have a guy in the first few minutes pulling his pants down and having explosive poop over which, I mean, I thought was pretty damn funny and ironic in a beautiful Game of Thrones type of way, but it also literally was kind of like shitting on the series, it felt like. And from an older perspective, I can see why that's not necessarily what you'd want to lean towards. But I was like, I know those first 3 episodes might not be your cup of tea. Finish it out while we're on this plane, though, and watch that 4, 5, 6. And I got woken up. He came and knocked on my shoulder while I was sleeping on the plane and said I finished it. And it was really good. So that was cool. That was cool to see. But hey, we keep boosting SciTrek up. Let's call it 50,000. When we get to 50,000, Fantasy Trek is ready. We'll do it. We'll do it. I'm ready. I'm Red-Eye Jedi. I'm ready, Freddy. I'm trying to find one that works for Game of Thrones. I can't off the top of my head this quickly. Got bored. Knight of the Seven Kingdom after 1 episode. The only episode I watched. 1 and 2 are different than the rest of the show. Episode-wise is what I'm talking. There's only 6 episodes out, of course. Episode 3 is like, we still have some funny things left to do, but we're setting you up for the stage that is Westeros and Game of Thrones. You get to episode 4, and you're like, oh, we're watching Game of Thrones again. You hit episode 5, and you're like, oh, we're not just watching Game of Thrones again. We're in maybe the most fierce thing that we've ever witnessed in Game of Thrones. Outside of Battle of the Bastards and Hardhome. And then again, it's way more personal. Obviously, you have Jon's stories that's convolutes into the personal kind of what's happening in Battle of the Bastards. That's really good. When Sansa pops up over that hill, you're like, oh my God, we really needed that 2 Towers moment right now. Thank you, Sansa and the Vale. Like, thank you. That doesn't come in Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. And I really wish we would have had it like a more money put into that fight to have it expanded upon, but because it's so just literally a narrow field of view while you're watching it, it makes it so intense and so well done. It's the most realistic fight I've seen in a movie in a long time. I still need to go see that movie Fighter that's out right now. I believe is it Korean or Japanese? And it's kind of gotten a broader release than expected, but that's gotten like the best fighting sequences of something since like the original Old Boy. And that's some high praise. But TV, at least, I think Knight of the Seven Kingdoms episode 5 very, 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 very likely may be the best fight sequence put to TV in a realism point of view. I'd almost said a stylistic point of view, but I'm like, well, there's some fun like John Wick stylistic kind of things that are really cool. And obviously you got like Daredevil hallway scenes or even Star Wars hallway scenes and stuff like that. And there are some really hyper stylized things that are awesome. But if we're talking specifically realism based, I'm gonna agree with Monk. LOL, yes, it's much better. But yeah, y'all got me another 10 minutes on just talking about how great Night of the Seven Kingdoms was, and it really was good. Oh, and another really good little movie I watched on the plane was A24's The Legend of Ochi. I meant to watch that when it came out last year or the end of 2024. I think it was 2025, like summary that it came out. It's very ET, very. Oh, I had another good comparison that I was calling it after I watched it, but it's really ET in a lot of ways. Smaller scale, not that much smaller. Larger scale, arguably, in scope of where they go, like across country, but kind of not really at the same time. I'd say a similar. It's a very modern ET like tale. I had a really good time with it. It's definitely it's. I'd say it's about the same age range as ET, but yeah, Legend of Ochi was a nice little movie to watch on an airplane. That I wish it made me wish I'd seen it whenever it came out in the movie theater itself. But it was really good. Really enjoyed it. But oh yeah, 2.5 hours into this sucker. Let's go ahead and call this thing a day. One more time before we jump on out of here. Tomorrow, Farscape Train on 50, SciTrek Maneuver Wednesday. Thursday morning, we're going to have a special episode of the Radical Wasteland podcast to talk season 2 of Silo before maybe coming back at 5 p.m. Pacific time to talk Creatures and Cryptids. And we will be back 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to watch episode 1, season 3 of Silo as it premieres. And we'll do a watch party, of course, for that, and come back Friday morning to talk Radical Wasteland podcast on that Silo season 3 premiere. And then again, we'll see you in a week from now on that SciFi Sundays. I thought we were just starting. I've got too much yard work, and also I need some food. But yeah, I think that is us for today. Thank y'all again for hanging out. It was fun talking Disclosure Day. We'll definitely end up talking more of that throughout the week. Probably some next Sunday as well. We'll have some other things to talk about, of course, but it'll be a great week of things to talk about sci-fi wise, which is always a good week in my books. All that being said, once again, thank y'all for hanging. Stay cosmic, SciTrekkers, and we will see you in the next video. Adios, y'all. Technical difficulties before we get out of here. Now, adios.